Okay, time for another edition of How Far Have You Slung Your Shit Lately? Because this is the last time we are having to run this crazy contraption to flush our black tanks. However, we parked a little differently than we did the last time, and we're coming up short.
We didn't. Someone who parked Maine did.
I'm getting blamed for this.
Yes.
Okay, so the last time I tried to record this, it was too windy and we couldn't get it all of the audio in. Some people ask me, why do you not use a honey wagon? Well, number one, we don't have one. We used to have one, but I didn't know what it was at the time and it got destroyed. So we also can't justify, that's a cannon, by the way. We can't justify spending the $300-400 for a shit wagon when this is like $80 for a macerator pump, and this is far easier to carry in the bays than it is trying to strap one of those stupid honey wagons on the back of your rig, especially when we don't do this often. I mean, this is like a last emergency thing, and it's so much easier just to run a garden hose with the macerator pumps on it than it is trying to carry a big wagon around. The other thing that a lot of people said was, why don't you just move the RV closer to the dump station? Well, let me explain to you where the dump station is. Okay, so the dump is actually in front of my parents' house, down at the bottom, kind of their lower level. And then that is my mom's front yard. She is not going to be happy if we drove our rig up through her front yard, and then no matter what, this is a big hill down. So we would have to run a really long hose anyway to get into it, and because it sticks up, we don't exactly get the gravity situation. So using the hose and just running it here actually works better. Oh, check that out. Okay, so I asked James about how long it takes him to do it this way. He said it kind of depends on how many times he flushes the tank, but just running it to clean it takes about twice as long as what it would do if you were just doing a regular hose hookup situation. But that is because you're going from a big hose like this to a much smaller hose. So it does kind of take a little bit longer, but it still take less than the actual like putting it in a honey wagon and then carrying it over and then dumping the honey wagon. So it's still less touching of the grossness if we do it this way. Oh, and also note, don't use these garden hoses again for anything else. We did have a situation a few years ago when we set up this situation, and then my brother took it upon himself to use the garden hose, not knowing what it was, and hooking it up to our fresh tank. That was a problem. Still rocking our awesome 3-phase Glacier Fresh water filtration system and water softener. We've had this for 2 years now. This stuff is amazing. We do have to clean the filters out every few months, but other than that. Another question we got was, why don't we just move the rig? Well, that is an option. However, from where we're at, the closest campground that has a dump station is probably about 10 miles down the road, and you usually have to have a reservation to get in there, and they usually charge you to dump. So it's also a lot of work to get this thing ready to go and get it reset back up. So doing it once a week is kind of too much of a pain in the ass. This is so much less. I don't understand why people didn't realize this is so much less work and costs less. The good thing is, this is the last time we have to do it. We are headed out to the Hershey show today. We are dumping tanks to go on a big trek out to Pennsylvania. So if you're going to be at the Hershey show, make sure you stop by, say hi to us. And if not, you better keep watching, because we're going to have tons of footage of that going on. Thanks for flying with us.